I've been recently thinking about religion and religious oppression and oppressed religion, and I started to think that I forget to tell people that I myself am religious, other than my friends and family. But not many people know that I'm religious of the faith of Christianity. And I've been seeing lately online all over the place that a lot of people of religious faiths, more than just Christianity, I'm talking about Islam and Judaism and Buddhism and any sort of religion, has been recently more or less trashed on. I've brought this to my attention recently due to my friends having anti-religious beliefs. This isn't a video to hit on them or bash on them. This is more like what I've been noticing and what people could work on instead of just hating each other based off of their opinions and beliefs. Um, I've seen so many reels and TikToks and YouTube shorts bashing on specifically Christians and Islam people, and I've noticed it's only really to do with the people rather than the actual religion. I have had my times where I disliked people or disliked religion. I've had a trouble with people who were Islamic or Judaist or whatever you call it, or Jewish, which is kind of weird seeming as most of my oh my gosh, most of my family lineage comes from a German Jew kind of history. So it's kind of hypocritical of me to judge, and it really doesn't teach that in my form of religion. But I've seen so many places talk about how religion is the worst thing ever and that Christians are evil and homophobic and Islam are just a bunch of terrorists and Jewish people are a bunch of power hungry people. And you know what? There might be some truth to all those. You never know. It could be a truth that people don't like. And sometimes it's a truth that people refuse to believe. And maybe they're right that the people are do that rather than the actual religion. I know that people say, oh, Christians are so stupid, or oh, these people, this group of people are Buddhist or dumb and they're sexist, and these group of people are racist for their religion, and it doesn't make any sense, because when I read up on some of these religious beliefs, I tend to see that more often than not they're not true. Like in the Christian faith, how people say that you can't go to heaven if you're gay, but all sin is created equally except for blasphemy of the Holy Ghost or whatever you say. And that doesn't make sense. Why are you telling people that they're going to go to hell because they're gay? That doesn't make any sense. It's just misinterpretation, and you're making people hate your religion. And I feel bad for people of a part of, the LGBTQ or whatever, people who were of color who were told they couldn't be religious because the people in the religion told them they couldn't, which isn't fair, because it's just not fair, right? If we want equality in our religions and we want equality in general, one of the best thing to do is to help another person out with their faith. But in turn of people misusing their religion to hurt other people and their beliefs, we created oppressed religion, which basically means instead of people who are religious oppressing others, it's non-religious people oppressing religious people based off of their beliefs, causing it to be the problem. Which, I mean, it feels like hurting these people based on their beliefs is a good feeling, because, oh, they've been doing this to us for hundreds, if not thousands of years. And I think that would just make us go back in time, right? Like, we're just going backwards instead of forward. And I think that people need to understand that, just because you think it's right that you're bashing on someone based off of their religion doesn't mean, like, doesn't make them feel any better, and it will cause them to have a lot more issues internally, and it will cause a lot of bias towards anti-religious or non-religious people in general. Like, I've heard the argument that religious people can be stupid, which doesn't make any sense. A lot of the smartest people in the world were religious, and a lot of the dumbest people in the world are religious too. I think that people need to understand that it's an opinion that we're allowed to have, and bashing it is just as bad as bashing someone for being kind of like conservative or liberal, or gay or straight or transgender or gender fluid, anything like that. You're all entitled to that, and I think everyone should have that right. And I think oppressing religious people isn't gonna do much better, I guess you could say. And religious people oppressing non-religious people isn't gonna do the same either. But this has been the weekly rant. It's one day late again. I do apologize. I should start doing it like every 3 days instead, to keep a schedule going on. But that's what I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next week.